Alright, y'all, this is my third rant of the day. Two down, two to go. Let's get right into it, bro. Wow. May 1st, 2001. Destiny's Child, Kelly Rowland, Michelle Williams, and Beyonce Knowles, before she was Beyonce Knowles Carter, released their third album, Survivor. The album features production by Beyonce herself, J.R. Totem, with additional production from Poke and Tone, the Trackmasters, Corey Rooney, and Mark J. Feist. The album debuted at number 1, I knew it, on the Billboard 200 with first week sales of 663,000 copies. And it stayed number 1 for 2 consecutive weeks. It earned Destiny's Child 2 Grammy nominations for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals and Best R&B Album. Survivor was certified quadruple platinum on January 7, 2002. Billboard ranked Survivor at number 70 on the magazine's top 200 albums of the decade. It sold over 4.7 million copies in the US and 12 million copies worldwide. The 5 singles from the album are Bootylicious, Independent Women Part 1, Survivor, Nasty Girl, and Emotion, which I believe it's a cover of Samantha Sang's Emotion. Pretty much no guest appearances on this album. If you're asking, do they have an Independent Women Part 2 on here? They sure do. It's track number 8. Yep, no guest appearances on this album. The album has 15 tracks. And look. You guys thought I didn't have the album, but I did. One of my dad's friends burned us a copy of the album after it came out. And 20 years later, I still got it. Never left it out of my sight. I have never let this out of my sight. I have to say, this is Destiny's Child's best album in my opinion. 20 years later, this album is a classic. But you know, the first 4 original members of Destiny's Child were Kelly Rowland, Beyonce, LaToya Luckett, and Latavia Robertson. In early 2000, LaToya Luckett and Latavia Robertson were replaced by Michelle Williams and Farrah Franklin. Farrah Franklin quit the group after 5 months, and the group became a trio of Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce until the group broke up in 2006. After the release of Survivor, Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce pretty much announced that they would take a hiatus from making music together and begin working on their solo careers. Bro, I can't believe it's been 20 years since Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce released the Survivor album. My age wasn't even a double digit yet when this album first came out. I was still 9, going on 10, in the 4th grade, I believe. I was 47 days or 48 days away from turning 10 years old. I'm now 47 days away from turning 30. 20 years later, this album has to be Destiny's Child's best album. Basically, there's no skippable tracks on here. My favorite song off the album is track number 6, Apple Pie Limo. That has to be one of their most slept on tracks. Wow. 20 years since Destiny's Child released their third album, Survivor. I just can't fucking believe it. It's been 20 years. Did I say 10 years? I meant to say 20 years. I'm sorry. Thank you, Kelly, Michelle, and Beyonce, for making this classic album as a trio. I figured that this album was going to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200. Let me see. Did it debut at #1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart? I'm pretty sure it did. Yep. It debuted at #1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart. I knew it. I freaking knew that was... I figured that was going to say it on here. And it debuted at #1 on the UK R&B albums chart. Wow. This has to be Destiny's Child's best album. I just can't believe it. After the release of Survivor, they pretty much released a Christmas album called 8 Days of Christmas on October 30th, 2001. The two singles were 8 Days of Christmas and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but we're not going to do a rant about Destiny's Child's Christmas album until the 20th anniversary, the day before Halloween. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up my rant celebrating 20 years of Destiny's Child's third album, Survivor. I can't believe it's been 20 years since this album came out. It makes me feel so old. I'm almost 30 years old, and that album came out when I almost turned 10. I can't believe it. If you're new here, hit subscribe if you like the content and hit that notification bell for my next anniversary rant. Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Be sure to leave your comment down below. And I'll be back in a minute for my last rant of the day, and that is part 22 of my Let's Play of Def Jam Fight for New York, with the last 5 of the 15 matches that were requested by my man GladoRod 3000. Happy 20th anniversary to Destiny's Child's third album, Survivor.